There is a free open source tool that cuts the number of tokens your AI coding assistant burns on a code review by up to 528 times. Not a typo, 528 times. It's benchmarked, it's reproducible, and the install is one command. The tool is called Code Review Graph, and if you've ever watched Claude Code or Cursor or Codex reread half your code base just to answer a question about one function, this is built specifically to fix that. Here's the actual problem it targets. AI coding tools are context hungry by default. Ask for a review, and a lot of them will scan far more of your repository than the change actually touches because they don't have a structural map of how your code connects. And they're reasoning from scratch every time about what might be affected. On a large monorepo, that's not a minor inefficiency. It's the difference between a fast, cheap review and one that burns your context window and your bill on files that were never relevant. And here's how Code Review Graph fixes it. It parses your entire repository into an abstract syntax tree using tree sitter and builds that into a graph. Nodes for functions, classes, and imports, edges for calls, inheritance, and test coverage. When a file changes, the graph computes what's actually called its blast radius, every caller, every dependent, every test that could possibly be affected by that specific change. Your AI assistant gets handed that minimal set through MCP and reads only those files instead of scanning the whole project to be safe. The benchmark numbers are public and reproducible, not marketing copy. Across 6 real repositories, the measured token reduction ranges from 38x to 528x. On the tool's own repository, a genuine monorepo, total source tokens come to just over 208,000. Graph-assisted responses average around 2,495 tokens. That's roughly 93 times fewer tokens per question, with over 27,700 files correctly excluded from the review context and only about 15 files actually read. It updates fast, too. Once you enable watch mode or the supported hooks, a file save triggers an incremental update. The graph hashes what changed, finds the dependents, and reparses only those files. A 2,900 file project reindexes in under 2 seconds. Setup is genuinely one command, pip install, then a single install command that auto-detects which AI coding tool you're running: Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, Windsurf, Gemini CLI, GitHub Copilot, and a dozen others, and writes the correct MCP configuration for each one automatically. No manual config file editing per tool. Worth knowing before you install it broadly. This is community tooling, not something built or endorsed by Anthropic or any of the platforms it plugs into. Read the install script and the MCP config it writes before you run it on anything sensitive, the same way you should for any tool that touches your codebase and your AI assistant's configuration. If context bloat has ever been the reason your AI coding sessions felt slow or expensive on a large repo, this is worth testing on one real project this week and checking whether your own review sessions actually get faster. Try 11 Labs, the AI voice in this video, https try.11labs.io rdsbyjpttto. This video contains